Hey y'all, Wacky Wormer here with another episode of my GregTech New Horizons playthrough. Last episode we worked on this coke oven and got it up and running. I've already pulled the charcoal out of here. I made 37 total, and I went ahead and crafted a torch, which has been really nice. And then we've got a little over 9 buckets of creosote oil in here. That'll be really useful either for torches or furnace fuels. So it's really awesome to have that and to have a lot more power in terms of smelting and creating some light sources for us. We also worked on our garden, and in between episodes, after that blood moon that I logged off for, I logged back in, and I got caught up in a spider web from a mob, and then a creeper came over and blew me up and destroyed pretty much all of my gardens. I was left with one gourd garden, and that was it. So I went out and I found some stalk gardens and planted those, and you can see I've already planted like the bell peppers and stuff from that. We'll let that expand, and at some point we'll have to go back out and find some more gardens for that. This episode, if we take a look at the quest book, we are going to be working kind of over this way from the charcoal and then working over. Let's go ahead and turn this view mode back on. And ideally, I'd hope to get all the way up at least to mining up some iron. We're probably not going to craft the tools and stuff, but want to go through kind of the GregTech ore vein generation and mining, particularly for iron, but in general. So let's take a look at this charcoal quest. We need 4 charcoal. This is a consume, which is why it's sitting in my inventory, but hasn't triggered the quest. So let's turn those in. And the metal bucket here is... let's go ahead and take that. That's tempting. Not that I really have a need for lava right now, but having that metal bucket will be very helpful when we get to building like the Tinker Smeltery and stuff like that, right? Cool. So this is just kind of an informational thing. It talks a little bit about the GregTech ore generation. It kind of gives you a hint at how that sort of works. So we'll check that off. And then this is an interesting quest. If we mine up 256 cobblestone, which is, 4 stacks, right? It'll let us claim some iron tools. And this is really just kind of to save us some time. We better pick up that bucket. Yeah. It's really just to save us some time. Because if we mined with our flint pickaxe long enough, it should bump up to iron. I think it'll bump up to an iron mining level. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it will. So let's clear some inventory. I need to plant that. We'll get rid of these things. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And yeah, we're in pretty good shape here, I think. Cool. So let's plant this sweet potato. And then I'm just going to mine up a whole bunch of stone so that we can claim those quest rewards. So you know what? Instead of cutting until after I'd mine up all this stone, we're going to talk about GregTech ore generation. And I'll mine up some of the stone as part of finding GregTech ore vein. So if you press F9 a couple of times, yep, so 3 times gets you to this view right here. And this border outlines a 3x3 chunk area, right? And then this over here, this blue sort of outline square here, this is the center of that 3x3 chunk area, right? So if you dig down at this blue space, you are almost guaranteed to find some sort of ore vein, right? It's not 100% guaranteed because there are some ores which only spawn like above our current Y level. And so if the ore generation happens to trigger that particular ore for this area, but there's no land to put it in, then there just won't be an ore vein in this zone, right? But like 99% of the time, you dig down, you find some sort of ore vein. GregTech ore veins are huge. They, I need to repair my matic before we do this. They have I don't know, like maybe 100 of, at least 100 of each type of ore that spawns in them. And usually they have 4 types, I believe, of ore that spawns in them. And some of those types are, you know, you get iron from 2 out of the 4 types or whatever, right? But a lot of times they're just completely different types. If you look in NEI, so I've got like iron ore here. We go to the GregTech version, and then we should have vein stats, is it? Yes. Yeah, so this shows you the type of vein, so copper vein here, and that copper vein contains these 4 types of ores, right? So chalcopyrite, iron, pyrite, and copper. So these are the 4 types of ores. If I were to stumble on a copper vein, this is what I would find inside them. And then magnetite has magnetite, iron, and vanadium magnetite, right? And you get all the information about what height they generate at and all that good stuff. For right now, we're just going to kind of blindly run to these different little chunks and search for an ore vein. The trick for mining here, because unlike normal Minecraft where you just kind of strip mine to find everything you need, we know that that ore vein should be relatively centered on this blue column here. And so kind of the strategy here is to straddle this line between the 2 blocks and then mine down such that we don't hit a pit and fall into lava. Awesome. And then we've already stumbled on what appears to be a vein. Usually the first time you hit an ore in a vein, and I can't even mine this. Usually the first time you hit an ore in a vein, it pops up and tells you that you just hit an ore. And then if you open up Journey Map, there are some GregTech plugins here, and you can click this to show GregTech ore veins, and you see that coal symbol sprite popped up right there, and it tells me that this is a coal and lignite coal vein. So it must have popped up and told me, and I just didn't see it. So that's kind of neat, and it's really convenient. You don't have to make journey map waypoints for all of these things. So that's super useful. But I'm not super interested in coal, and you saw I couldn't even mine it anyways. So I'm going to hop around and discover a few of these ore veins. And when I hit something that is pretty useful, we'll see you then. All right, so I just hit another ore vein. This one is a garnetin ore vein, but it has cassiterite sand. Cassiterite sand, can I mine it up? I cannot quite yet. I would have to mine and level the tool up. But cassiterite sand is a great source of tin. Something else to note, a lot of times when you're searching for ore veins, or even just running around on the surface, you'll come across these small ores. These are, in general, not as a complete rule, but in general, they're not really worth picking up. There are some cases where it could give you slightly earlier access to certain ores that you otherwise couldn't mine up. And in those cases, it's pretty useful. But in general, you can ignore them. I don't think... So, like, if you run along the surface and you'll see some... you hit an area with a lot of stone in it or something, you'll see several of those ores on the surface. I don't think that they really indicate the veins that are under them, but I definitely could be wrong about that. And then there we just found a soapstone vein. So I'm going to mine back up. As I'm doing this, and the whole reason I'm really doing this right now is because of that 256 stone or cobblestone quest, right? So as I'm mining up, I want to use dirt or something else for my columns instead of that cobblestone. I want to save that. All right, so I just found an iron ore vein. You can see the tip there: brown limonite, yellow limonite, banded iron, and malachite. I think all of the first 3 of those will give me iron in a furnace. So that's super awesome. And then now I'm either chasing the level up on the pickaxe here. I definitely don't like this. Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, I just want to torch this up. I don't want any surprises. We've seen how tough the mobs can be, right? But there's a lot of limonite here, and then I just want to kind of chase that either the mining level up or hitting the 256 cobble, right? So I've got some quarried stone here, and then I'm just gonna, oops, wall this off just for the safety of it, right? But then I'm just gonna dig around the ore that I've found. I can't harvest it yet, but you can see harvest level is 1 copper, which is 1 higher than my current tool level, right? So as soon as it levels up, I'll be good to go with that. So I'm just gonna mine out a lot of the stone around this, and then either when the tool levels up or when I hit 256 stone, cobblestone, we'll be able to actually get on with mining this out. Right? Okay, so our tool just hit its next tool XP level, and then so I got a modifier on it. So it's definitely the mining XP, which you can see I'm about 70 shy on that. That's going to get me up to the next mining level. So that's what we're shooting for, is mining XP to the next level. I'll hit the cobblestone right before then. And I just want to make sure that I'm right about that. I need to go repair my tool. So I'll fill up on cobblestone before then and could trade that in for the iron pickaxe head. But that actually may not be the best move for me. It's not such a big deal because I did find an iron vein. But if I get that iron pickaxe head, I don't currently have an ability to repair it, right? So that's something to definitely keep in mind. I'm going to be coming up here in the dark, which is not cool. I do have that torch outside our home, and you can see this is actually the vein right behind my coke oven. So I'm hopeful. Oops. Oh, I'm out of stuff. I'm hopeful that I can, yeah, get down here and get to sleep, maybe. Okay, I heard a zombie. I didn't know if it was going to let me sleep or not. Oh, boy. There we go. All right. That's Alright, I'm going to take care of this problem. And then we'll finish mining up that ore down there. Okay, so we just hit +1 mining level, which means now we can actually mine up this, at least the brown limonite, malachite. We can't do the yellow limonite yet, and we can't do the banded. But this, I believe, if we look at this, and we smelt it, we get an iron ingot. So that's awesome. So the benefits of that are that the benefits of leveling up just by mining and not by using that quest to turn in all the cobblestone is that now I have a flint repairable pickaxe, not an iron repairable one, that allows me to mine up some of these ores. Now, obviously, like, this flint pickaxe is not going to level up more in terms of its mining level. So I've kind of hit the peak here, and if I want to mine up that yellow limonite or the banded iron ore, I'm going to have to use a new material, right? But for right now, I just want to mine up as much of this stuff as I can, and then we'll head up top and get it smelted. Something else you'll notice too in these GregTech ore veins is that there kind of is this little layered system here. You can see that the brown limonite, for example, it's in the first 3 levels. I don't know if we'll see it at all below that. Okay, the first 4 levels. Yeah. And then, but you see, I didn't see any yellow limonite until I got down here towards the bottom. I think they're usually a total of about 7 layers tall. So when you hit that ore vein and you're not finding what you need, make sure to dig down a couple layers into it And usually you'll find whatever ores are supposed to be part of that ore vein somewhere in those 7 layers. Alright, so I'm back up top. I mined up a full stack of that brown limonite ore, and then I split it between these 2 furnaces. And there we go. That is our first iron ingot. So you can kind of see the paradigm with GregTech ore mining here is that it's pretty easy to find veins. It takes a little bit of effort to find the veins that you're particularly interested in. You can see I kind of went out in this direction, found some stuff I wasn't too interested in, and eventually I came back and just tried the one by the house, and that ended up being our iron vein. But also that once we found that ore vein, there was plenty of ore there to meet our current needs, right? I mean, we're definitely going to mine a lot of those veins out over the course of the game, but usually once you find one, you're kind of set for the next little while, which is awesome. So cool. I'm going to let this continue smelting off camera, and then we will focus on working on some of our tools, and then working towards our first steam machines, which is going to be a lot of fun. All right, so until then, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a subscribe and a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.